What if everything you've ever heard about Saudi Arabia tells only a fraction of the story? For many people, the name alone brings to mind endless deserts, towering oil rigs, and strict traditions frozen in time. It's a country often reduced to headlines, stereotypes, or dramatic images flashing across television screens. But behind those familiar pictures lies a civilization thousands of years older than the modern nation itself, a place where ancient kingdoms flourished, where merchants crossed continents, and where history quietly shaped the world we live in today. Saudi Arabia is not simply another country in the Middle East. It sits at the crossroads of Africa, Asia, and Europe, occupying one of the most strategically important locations on Earth. Every year, millions of people journey here for religious pilgrimage, while the world's largest economies closely watch its decisions on energy, trade, and investment. Yet despite its global influence, much of Saudi Arabia remains surprisingly unknown to outsiders. Long before skyscrapers transformed Riyadh or futuristic megaprojects captured international attention, this land was already at the center of human civilization. Vast deserts that now appear empty were once highways connecting powerful empires. Hidden among rugged mountains and sandstone valleys were thriving cities where merchants traded silk from China, spices from India, incense from southern Arabia, and precious metals from the Mediterranean. One of the greatest of these civilizations was the Nabataean kingdom, famous for its remarkable ability to survive in one of the harshest environments on Earth. While many recognize Petra in present-day Jordan as their masterpiece, fewer realize that another extraordinary Nabataean city lies deep inside northwestern Saudi Arabia. Known today as AlUla, this breathtaking landscape preserves the ancient city of Hijra, or Madain Salih, carved directly into massive sandstone cliffs nearly 2,000 years ago. Elaborate tombs rise from the desert with astonishing precision, their towering facades standing almost untouched by time. Walking among these monuments feels less like visiting an archaeological site and more like stepping into another world, where prosperous traders once controlled vital commercial routes stretching across continents. These caravan routes carried far more than valuable goods. They transported languages, religions, scientific knowledge, and cultural traditions between distant civilizations. For centuries, Arabia acted as a bridge connecting East and West, quietly influencing global history in ways that are often overlooked. Then, during the 7th century, this region witnessed one of the most significant turning points in human history. In the city of Mecca, Islam emerged, forever changing the religious, cultural, and political landscape of much of the world. Nearby Medina became the first center of the growing Muslim community, and together these cities would shape the lives of billions of people across generations. Today, Saudi Arabia safeguards some of humanity's most sacred sites while also protecting an extraordinary collection of cultural treasures. From the ancient rock art of Hail to the historic At-Turoif district in Diriyah and the timeless beauty of AlUla, multiple UNESCO World Heritage Sites reveal a story that stretches far beyond oil and modern headlines. This hidden past reminds us that Saudi Arabia's true story did not begin with wealth beneath the sand. It began with civilizations, trade, innovation, and faith that transformed the course of history. But everything changed in the 20th century, when a discovery buried deep beneath the desert would turn an isolated kingdom into one of the most powerful nations on Earth. The discovery of oil didn't just transform Saudi Arabia, it reshaped the global economy. In the early 20th century, much of the kingdom remained a land of small settlements, vast deserts, and ancient traditions. Life revolved around farming in scattered oases, fishing along the Red Sea and Arabian Gulf, and raising camels and livestock across the harsh interior. Resources were limited, infrastructure was minimal, and few could have imagined that beneath the endless sand lay one of the greatest concentrations of wealth the world had ever seen. Everything changed in 1938. Near the town of Dhahran, after years of expensive drilling and repeated failures, geologists struck oil at what became known as Dammam Well No. 7. At first, no one fully understood the scale of the discovery. But as exploration continued, it became clear that Saudi Arabia possessed some of the largest petroleum reserves on the planet. The timing could hardly have been more significant. As the world entered the age of automobiles, aviation, and rapid industrialization, demand for oil exploded. Suddenly, this once overlooked kingdom found itself holding one of the world's most valuable strategic resources. International companies rushed to invest, eventually leading to the creation of Saudi Aramco, which would grow into one of the largest and most valuable energy companies in history. Massive oil fields stretched beneath the eastern province, and production expanded year after year. Revenues poured into the country at an unprecedented pace, funding roads, hospitals, schools, airports, and entirely new cities. Within just a few decades, Saudi Arabia experienced one of the fastest economic transformations ever recorded. Modern highways crossed landscapes that had once been navigated only by camel caravans. Airports connected distant regions. Universities educated new generations of engineers, scientists, and entrepreneurs. Cities like Riyadh expanded dramatically, evolving from modest settlements into sprawling metropolitan centers filled with skyscrapers, business districts, and modern infrastructure. Jeddah, long known as a historic gateway for pilgrims traveling to Mecca, also underwent remarkable growth. Its coastline became lined with luxury hotels, bustling ports, and impressive waterfront developments, while remaining an important cultural and commercial hub connecting Saudi Arabia with the wider world. Oil wealth didn't simply change Saudi Arabia, it gave the kingdom enormous influence far beyond its borders. Decisions made in Riyadh could affect fuel prices in New York, manufacturing in Europe, and economic growth across Asia. As one of the world's leading oil exporters and a key member of OPEC, Saudi Arabia became a central player in the global energy market, capable of influencing supply and helping stabilize, or disrupt, international markets during times of crisis. Yet even as prosperity grew, Saudi leaders recognized a difficult reality. No natural resource lasts forever, and economies built around a single industry face significant risks. Fluctuating oil prices repeatedly demonstrated how dependent national revenues had become on global energy demand. By the beginning of the 21st century, a new question emerged: what would Saudi Arabia look like after oil? The answer would require a transformation unlike anything the kingdom had attempted before, not just building taller skyscrapers or producing more energy, but reimagining its entire economy, embracing technology, opening to tourism, and investing in industries that scarcely existed a generation earlier. That bold vision would soon take shape in one of the most ambitious national development plans of the modern era, Vision 2030. For decades, oil was the engine that powered Saudi Arabia's rise. But today, the kingdom is betting that its future will be built on something far more ambitious than fossil fuels. In 2016, Saudi Arabia unveiled Vision 2030, a sweeping national strategy designed to transform nearly every aspect of the country's economy and society. Rather than relying primarily on oil revenues, the plan aims to develop new industries, attract international investment, expand tourism, encourage innovation, and prepare the kingdom for a rapidly changing world. At the heart of this vision is Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, often referred to as MBS. Under his leadership, Saudi Arabia has launched reforms at a pace few expected. New entertainment venues have opened, international sporting events now attract millions of viewers, and visitors from around the world can obtain tourist visas to explore parts of the country that were once largely inaccessible. Tourism has become one of the kingdom's biggest priorities. Ancient archaeological sites are being restored, luxury resorts are rising along the untouched Red Sea coastline, and historical districts are being carefully preserved for future generations. The goal is ambitious: to welcome millions of international visitors each year while showcasing a side of Saudi Arabia that many people have never experienced. But tourism is only one piece of a much larger puzzle. The government is investing heavily in artificial intelligence, robotics, renewable energy, biotechnology, and advanced manufacturing. Massive data centers, research institutions, and technology hubs are being developed to position Saudi Arabia as a leader in the industries of tomorrow rather than relying solely on the resources of yesterday. Perhaps nowhere is that ambition more visible than in the kingdom's investment in clean energy. Although Saudi Arabia remains one of the world's largest oil producers, it is also building enormous solar and wind projects, recognizing that the global energy landscape is gradually changing. Diversifying energy sources is becoming as important as diversifying the economy itself. Yet the most extraordinary symbol of Saudi Arabia's transformation isn't a power plant or a financial district. It's a city that, until recently, existed only as an idea. In the remote northwest of the country, near the shores of the Red Sea, construction has begun on one of the most ambitious urban development projects ever conceived. Its name is NEOM. Covering an area larger than many countries, NEOM is envisioned as a futuristic region powered by renewable energy and driven by cutting-edge technology. Instead of simply expanding existing cities, planners hope to rethink how cities themselves are built. The project's most famous component is the Line, a proposed linear city stretching approximately 170 kilometers through the desert. Unlike conventional cities that spread outward with endless roads and traffic, the Line is designed around the idea that daily necessities should be reachable within minutes. High-speed transportation would connect communities, while much of the surrounding landscape would remain preserved. NEOM also includes Oxagon, a planned floating industrial and logistics hub, Trojena, a mountain destination expected to host outdoor recreation and winter sports, and Sindala, a luxury island resort developed for tourism and yachting in the Red Sea. Supporters describe these projects as bold experiments that could redefine urban living. Critics question their cost, complexity, and long-term feasibility. Many elements remain under construction, while others are expected to evolve over the coming decades. Whether every vision becomes reality remains uncertain, but few would dispute the sheer scale of the ambition. Saudi Arabia is attempting something rarely seen in modern history, redesigning not just a city, but an entire national identity for the 21st century. Yet despite all these futuristic megaprojects, one of the kingdom's greatest surprises has nothing to do with skyscrapers or artificial intelligence. Because beyond the cities and deserts lies a Saudi Arabia that few outsiders ever imagine, a land of green mountains, volcanic landscapes, crystal-clear coral reefs, and even winter snowfall. If you picture Saudi Arabia as nothing but endless dunes and scorching desert, you're not alone. It's one of the most common assumptions people make about the kingdom, and one of the biggest misconceptions. In reality, Saudi Arabia is one of the most geographically diverse countries in the Middle East. Stretching across more than 2 million square kilometers, its landscapes change dramatically from one region to another. Towering mountain ranges, lush valleys, volcanic fields, pristine coastlines, and even snowfall all exist within the borders of a country many imagine as a sea of sand. In the southwest lies the Asir Mountains, where elevations rise above 3,000 meters, creating a climate unlike anywhere else in the Arabian Peninsula. During the summer months, cool temperatures and seasonal rainfall transform the hillsides into vibrant shades of green. Terraced farms climb the mountains, villages cling to steep cliffs, and forests blanket slopes that seem worlds away from the deserts shown in postcards. This region has supported communities for centuries. Traditional stone houses, some standing several stories high, reflect architectural styles found nowhere else in Saudi Arabia. Local markets buzz with handmade crafts, colorful textiles, and generations-old traditions that continue to thrive alongside modern development. Travel north, however, and the scenery changes once again. Near the city of Tabuk, winter occasionally brings a sight that surprises even seasoned travelers: snow. While it doesn't happen every year, cold fronts can blanket mountain peaks in white, drawing families eager to experience an unexpected winter landscape in the heart of the Arabian Peninsula. Images of children building snowmen in Saudi Arabia often leave people around the world asking the same question: can that really be Saudi Arabia? The kingdom is also home to one of Earth's largest volcanic regions. Across western Saudi Arabia stretches the Harat volcanic fields, formed by ancient lava flows that cover thousands of square kilometers. Black basalt rocks, dormant volcanic cones, and vast lava plains create landscapes that resemble another planet. Some of these eruptions occurred only a few centuries ago in geological terms, reminding scientists that the region remains volcanically active beneath the surface. Then there's the Red Sea. Often overshadowed by more famous diving destinations, Saudi Arabia's Red Sea coastline is considered one of the world's most pristine marine environments. Because large sections remained relatively undeveloped for decades, many coral reefs have stayed remarkably healthy. Beneath the surface, vibrant coral gardens provide shelter for hundreds of species of colorful fish, sea turtles, dolphins, and even whale sharks, the largest fish on Earth. These underwater ecosystems are now becoming a central part of Saudi Arabia's tourism strategy. New marine reserves and carefully planned coastal developments aim to attract divers and nature lovers while protecting fragile habitats for future generations. Wildlife also continues to surprise visitors. Arabian ibex climb steep mountain cliffs with incredible agility, while Arabian oryx, once nearly extinct in the wild, have been successfully reintroduced through conservation programs. Gazelles roam protected reserves, and migratory birds use Saudi Arabia as a vital stop along one of the world's major flyways connecting Africa, Europe, and Asia. These natural wonders reveal a side of Saudi Arabia that rarely makes international headlines. They tell the story of a country whose identity is shaped not only by deserts, but also by mountains, oceans, forests, and remarkable biodiversity. Yet landscapes alone cannot explain the soul of a nation. To truly understand Saudi Arabia, you have to experience the traditions passed down through generations, the warm hospitality, the aroma of freshly brewed Arabic coffee, the poetry, the music, and the customs that continue to define daily life in a society balancing centuries-old heritage with one of the fastest transformations in the modern world. Every nation is shaped not only by its landscapes or economy, but by the people who call it home. And in Saudi Arabia, some of the country's most remarkable traditions have survived for centuries, adapting to the modern world without losing their identity. Perhaps the first thing many visitors notice is hospitality. In Saudi culture, welcoming a guest is more than simple courtesy, it's a deeply rooted tradition. Whether arriving at a family home, a desert camp, or a business meeting, visitors are often greeted with warm smiles, fresh dates, and a small cup of Arabic coffee, known locally as gawa. Lightly roasted and flavored with cardamom, this coffee symbolizes generosity and respect. Refilling a guest's cup is a quiet gesture of friendship, while politely shaking the cup signals that you've had enough. Meals are equally important. Families often gather around large shared platters featuring dishes such as kabsa, fragrant rice served with chicken, lamb, or camel meat, seasoned with a rich blend of spices. Food is not simply nourishment, it's an opportunity to strengthen family bonds and welcome newcomers into the community. Many traditions that outsiders associate with Saudi Arabia are still very much alive today. Falconry, for example, has been practiced across the Arabian Peninsula for thousands of years. Once an essential hunting skill that helped families survive in the desert, it has evolved into a respected cultural heritage. Highly trained falcons are carefully raised, and annual festivals celebrate both the birds and the generations of knowledge passed down by experienced falconers. Camels hold a similar place in Saudi history. Long before highways crossed the kingdom, camels carried merchants through unforgiving deserts, connecting distant cities across Arabia. Today, they remain an important symbol of national identity. Camel festivals attract thousands of spectators each year, featuring beauty competitions, racing events, and cultural exhibitions that celebrate the animal often called the ship of the desert. Poetry has also occupied a unique place in Saudi society for centuries. Long before books were widely available, stories, history, and wisdom were preserved through spoken verse. Skilled poets could inspire tribes, record important events, or entertain audiences with performances that blended rhythm, emotion, and storytelling. Even today, poetry competitions and cultural festivals continue to draw enthusiastic audiences across the kingdom. Saudi Arabia's cultural heritage extends far beyond ancient customs. Over the past decade, the country has invested heavily in museums, art galleries, concerts, film festivals, and international cultural events. Historic districts such as Diriyah have been carefully restored, while modern artists increasingly showcase their work both locally and abroad. Daily life has changed dramatically as well. Saudi Arabia's cities are filled with modern shopping malls, stylish cafes, technology startups, and world-class universities. Young Saudis are among the most digitally connected populations in the region, with smartphones, online businesses, and social media playing a central role in everyday life. Entrepreneurship is growing rapidly, supported by government initiatives encouraging innovation and private investment. Education has expanded significantly over the past several decades, producing graduates in engineering, medicine, computer science, and business. Universities collaborate with international institutions, while research centers focus on fields ranging from renewable energy to artificial intelligence. Healthcare has also seen major improvements, with modern hospitals and advanced medical facilities serving communities across the country. Alongside these developments, women are participating in an increasingly wide range of professions, including science, aviation, finance, engineering, healthcare, entrepreneurship, and public service. These changes reflect broader economic reforms aimed at expanding opportunities while reshaping parts of the workforce. Yet despite rapid modernization, Saudi Arabia continues to face significant challenges. Transforming an economy built on oil is no simple task. Water remains scarce, environmental pressures are increasing, and the pace of change has sparked debate both inside and outside the kingdom. As Saudi Arabia pushes toward an ambitious future, the world is watching closely to see whether its bold vision can overcome the obstacles that lie ahead. As Saudi Arabia races toward the future, it faces one of the greatest balancing acts of any nation in the world. Transforming an economy that has depended on oil for generations is an enormous challenge. Although energy exports remain a cornerstone of the country's prosperity, global demand is gradually evolving as nations invest in renewable energy and new technologies. Saudi leaders understand that long-term success will require building an economy capable of thriving beyond petroleum. Water is another challenge that shapes everyday life. Despite its vast size, Saudi Arabia has no permanent rivers and receives very little annual rainfall. To meet the needs of millions of people, the kingdom relies heavily on desalination plants that convert seawater into fresh drinking water. In fact, Saudi Arabia is one of the world's largest producers of desalinated water, supplying homes, businesses, and industries across the country. While this technology has transformed life in the desert, it also requires significant energy and long-term investment. The environment presents additional pressures. Rising temperatures, desertification, and increasing water demand have encouraged Saudi Arabia to launch ambitious sustainability initiatives. Millions of trees are being planted through the Saudi Green Initiative, while renewable energy projects continue expanding alongside efforts to reduce carbon emissions and protect natural ecosystems. Rapid modernization also brings social and economic challenges. Building entirely new industries, attracting international investors, and preparing young people for jobs in technology, tourism, and advanced manufacturing requires continuous education, innovation, and infrastructure. Major projects must balance ambitious goals with practical realities such as construction costs, market demand, and long-term sustainability. Saudi Arabia has also faced international criticism regarding issues including human rights and freedom of expression. These topics continue to receive significant global attention and remain part of broader discussions about the country's ongoing reforms. At the same time, supporters point to economic diversification, expanding educational opportunities, and various social changes as evidence of a nation undergoing substantial transformation. Like many rapidly changing societies, Saudi Arabia is complex, and understanding its future requires recognizing both its achievements and its challenges. Yet regardless of differing perspectives, one fact is difficult to dispute: Saudi Arabia's decisions increasingly influence events far beyond its borders. Its strategic location connects Europe, Asia, and Africa through some of the world's busiest trade routes. Its investments reach industries ranging from technology and sports to renewable energy and artificial intelligence. International companies are establishing regional headquarters in Riyadh, while global events, business forums, and cultural festivals continue drawing visitors from around the world. The kingdom is no longer seeking to be known only as one of the world's leading oil producers. It aims to become a global center for innovation, tourism, finance, logistics, and advanced technology. Whether every ambitious project succeeds remains to be seen, but the scale of the transformation is undeniable. When we began this journey, we asked a simple question: what if everything you've heard about Saudi Arabia tells only part of the story? The answer lies in the remarkable contrasts that define this nation. It is a land where ancient Nabataean tombs stand beneath the same skies as futuristic megaprojects. Where centuries-old traditions coexist with artificial intelligence research. Where volcanic landscapes, coral reefs, and green mountain valleys challenge the image of an endless desert. And where a country shaped by its past is attempting to reinvent itself for a future unlike any it has known before. Saudi Arabia is not a place that can be understood through a single headline, a stereotype, or a photograph. It is a nation of history, ambition, contradictions, and extraordinary change. Whether its bold vision ultimately fulfills every promise or encounters unexpected obstacles, one thing is already certain. The hidden side of Saudi Arabia is no longer hidden. And the story of what happens next may become one of the defining stories of the 21st century. For all of its remarkable transformation, Saudi Arabia's biggest story may not be what it has already accomplished, but what it is trying to become. Imagine standing in the year 2050. The skyline of Riyadh stretches even farther than it does today. High-speed transportation links major cities across the kingdom. Artificial intelligence quietly manages traffic, energy grids, and public services. Tourists arrive from every continent not only to visit ancient UNESCO heritage sites, but also to experience destinations that, just decades earlier, existed only as blueprints. Whether this vision becomes reality remains uncertain. But few countries are attempting a transformation on such an extraordinary scale. Saudi Arabia's long-term strategy reaches far beyond oil. Billions of dollars are being invested in advanced manufacturing, biotechnology, renewable energy, cloud computing, robotics, and artificial intelligence. Universities are expanding research programs, while international technology companies are opening regional headquarters, hoping to participate in the kingdom's next chapter. Energy itself is evolving. Although oil will likely remain an important part of Saudi Arabia's economy for years to come, the kingdom is also positioning itself as a major producer of clean energy. Vast solar farms already harness the intense desert sunlight, while wind projects continue to expand across suitable regions. Saudi Arabia is also investing in hydrogen technologies, with the goal of becoming one of the world's leading exporters of clean hydrogen in the decades ahead. Transportation could also look dramatically different. Autonomous vehicles, smart logistics networks, and next-generation ports are expected to play a central role in connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. Located at the crossroads of three continents, Saudi Arabia is uniquely positioned to become one of the world's largest transportation and logistics hubs. The future may even extend beyond our planet. Saudi Arabia has increased its investment in space research and satellite technology while supporting scientific missions and international partnerships. As space industries continue to grow, the kingdom hopes to participate in sectors that could define the global economy throughout the second half of the 21st century. But perhaps the greatest transformation will be measured not in skyscrapers or technology, but in people. A generation of young Saudis is growing up in a country that looks very different from the one their parents knew. They are launching startups, developing software, conducting scientific research, producing films, designing video games, and building businesses that compete on a global stage. Their success will ultimately determine whether Vision 2030 becomes a lasting reality or simply an ambitious chapter in history. Of course, the future remains impossible to predict. Economic shifts, geopolitical tensions, technological breakthroughs, and global climate challenges will all influence Saudi Arabia's path. Some megaprojects may exceed expectations. Others may evolve in unexpected ways. History has shown that even the most carefully planned visions must adapt to changing realities. Yet what makes Saudi Arabia so fascinating is not the certainty of its future, it's the scale of its ambition. Few nations have attempted to reinvent themselves so rapidly while preserving thousands of years of cultural heritage. Fewer still have tried to transform an economy built on natural resources into one driven by knowledge, innovation, and technology. So perhaps the hidden side of Saudi Arabia isn't hidden anymore. Perhaps the real story is unfolding right now. A nation once known almost entirely for its deserts and oil is attempting one of the most ambitious national transformations of the modern era. Whether viewed through the lens of history, culture, technology, or global influence, Saudi Arabia is writing a new chapter, one that the entire world is watching with curiosity. And decades from now, when historians look back at this moment, they may conclude that we weren't simply witnessing the rise of new cities. We were witnessing the reinvention of an entire nation.